We're back here at We Are the World podcast. We're here with Arian. Yeah. You're a filmmaker and a documentarian in West Hollywood.
Right.
Yeah, so very excited to have you here. How you doing tonight?
Doing great. Just setting up for the show, hanging out, meeting up with people, and it's going good so far.
Yeah, you were telling me about showing a video tonight.
Yeah. Working with some buddies of mine who have a band in Denmark. It's called The Foreign Resort. It's kind of like a dark wave punk rock band. We've been doing a lot of videos over the years, and they come out here and do tours every other couple years. I think the last time they were out here a couple years ago, but they're doing a U.S. tour and a tour in Canada, and they're doing some European shows right now. We're going to release a new record, so we're showing one of the music videos that we just shot. I actually just finished editing it on the way out of the door today to come here. So
really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like, just the last second, you know?
That's cool. You excited?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So tell me a little bit about your filmmaking career and your documentarian career. Like what was your passion? How did you, was it something you stumbled upon or something you've always had your heart in it?
Yeah, I guess it was kind of the convergence of you know, being in a band, and I used to play in bands a long time ago. I still play in a band today, actually. It's funny. But, yeah, I started out making music videos just because I was into music already, and I had started working with cameras for a couple years just, you know, as something fun to do. And just like little by little on the side, started gaining more experience shooting videos and started doing music videos on my own, and just little by little turned that into commercial work, turned it into documentaries, just kept expanding and progressing over the years. I've been doing it for over 10 years now, so it's definitely been a long road. Started out playing guitar in you know, early days of high school, and started forming some bands. I used to play in a metal band called Until the Fall. Kind of had I played in a hardcore band called Your Next. Played in another hardcore band called Bow Breaks. So just
and when you
a lot of.
What were you playing?
Guitar.
Guitar?
Yeah,
okay,
guitar.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
So then you were a musician playing guitar first, and then how did the transition happen from being a musician to just going to film?
Yeah, man, I'm almost 40 now, so I've been doing this professionally for, I don't know, 12 years now. Okay. Shooting. And I started playing in bands when I was like 17. So like I said, I mean, it's almost been like 20 years of this, but there's like a convergence in the middle somewhere where just from being around so many musicians and, you know, just being in that world, I was able to connect myself with so many good musicians to shoot, you know, and that's kind of how it all started.
So you felt like you were a musician, but you were like thinking, these guys need to get filmed.
Right.
I'm passionate about filming too, so
yeah,
jump in there kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I guess there's a lot of room for creativity, and it's there's like no rules with music videos, you know.
That's true.
A lot of experimentation, a lot of blending genres, you know, and that's the other thing too. It's like it depends who you're working with, you know, like the artists that you're working with that you're shooting, you kind of mold to what they're giving you musically, right?
Okay.
So I mold my visuals around their aesthetic of sound.
Oh, okay.
You know, and like the vibe of the band and stuff. So all my videos are kind of different, but it all stems from like the musicians themselves, like trying to see how that inspires me, you know. But yeah, I do. You know, I shoot all kinds of stuff now. I'm interested in everything. As in documentaries, I'm just kind of all over the place. I'm interested in human stories in general, just like everything, man.
So when it comes to that, like interested in human stories, what do you do to capture human stories? Like, do you go out and on the random ask people, or do you typically choose events? Like, how does that go?
I guess trying to find like budgets is kind of a big thing these days, because I could go out and film 1 million documentaries with no money all day, but I guess these days I'm trying to like put something together where we could have a little bit more resources,
Yeah.
It's hard to make something with small crews, but it's definitely possible. But I've done, shoestring budgets out of my own pocket. I did a New Orleans music documentary a couple years ago. That was probably the last music documentary that I made. But yeah, these days it's just kind of like, if I could find something going on, I'd love to jump on it. But if it's something that is like more journalistic or like it requires more research, I'm up for that too. But I guess these days, yeah, it's just kind of like trying to merge those things with trying to find a crew or a budget, and all those things have to come together. It's a really complicated process. So I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm all over the place, but these projects can take different forms.
Is it like,
so if you're watching a documentary on Netflix or something, it's like 2 hours long, right?
Yeah.
But if I go out and make my own documentary, I could spend months working on it and with a crew of like 2 people or something, and that's like a 15-minute documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So like a no budget thing can be like a 10-15 minute documentary, put that on YouTube or stream it. And if it's like a feature thing, that's where you have to kind of like pull resources together, pull people together. It's just like such a big, or else you're going to spend like 5 years working on it,
Okay.
Am I going to spend 5 years working on a documentary and make nothing on the way there? Or I could spend 3 months with zero money, make it on my own, release it on my own, and then have a piece of content that's out there that would have never got made if a budget didn't exist. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm making stuff for free that's, 10, 15 minute like style documentaries. I mean, hey, it's like, working as an artist, you're trying to do your thing, but you're also trying to make rent too,
I got you. Like, most people don't understand that.
Yeah.
They'll see artists and they'll think, man, that person's okay. They're fine. They're an artist. So let's look up to that artist. And they're perfectly fine. But they don't understand that whole side you're talking about, which is like, artists also need to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
So we need projects that have a budget.
Right.
So,
but it depends. Like,
you need to balance it out, or you do some projects that are like no budget and.
Yeah, like, well, what you're saying is like, what differentiates it, or like, why do you need a budget? Do I need a budget to ask somebody a question and put them on camera because they have an interesting story? No, I don't need a budget for that, but I just need to pay rent for the next like year while I'm making that, if I'm not making something on it.
Exactly.
So that's the kind of battle. So there's different ways to go about it. You could make bite-sized documentaries. Maybe it's like a 5-minute piece, maybe it's a 1-minute piece living on Instagram, whatever it is. It's like, that doesn't cost any money for me to set up a couple cameras and like get interesting stories and get in there for sure.
Okay.
But they're just smaller pieces of content, right? Because it takes like a day to interview somebody, another week to go out and like catch some B-roll, calculate, what the story, or like investigate what that story is, edit it within another week or 2. I mean, that's done in less than a month.
Yeah.
And that doesn't cost anything.
So, when you have had what do you call it? Like the blessing to be part of a band and then be part of the filmmaking process. So you've been in 2 types of careers, say it, and where would you say your heart is at now? Is it both? Is it one or the other? What would you say?
I'd say that most of the grinding kind of like full force work goes into making films, making documentaries, and then the total opposite is music for me.
Okay.
Because it's not work.
Okay.
It's playtime. It's like experimentation. It's no thought.
Okay.
Where making a film is like pure thought. For me, I guess.
Okay.
With music, it's more like, here's a couple ideas. Here's some guitar riffs. What can we do with this? Having a rough idea for a song, coming together with my drummer, coming together with the singer, and like, just putting things together. It doesn't feel like work at all.
If you were, put in a situation where you're like, okay, there's the music. You're gonna be a guitarist for the next 5-20 years because there's this opportunity versus there's this opportunity with filmmaking. Which one would you choose? They're both in front of you at the same time. Which would you go for? And they're both just as lucrative and beautiful and fucking attractive. Right on, like, you make a decision right now. Where would you go?
Probably towards films, documentaries. Yeah,
So you would turn down being a guitarist at the stage
because I know I would still be doing it on on my personal time. It's my playtime anyway. I'm you know what I mean. So if the band I don't have to be on tour to be having a good time on stage. You know what I mean? Yeah. I guess I've done it for so many years. I've done so many bands, and they've always been just pretty much on the scope of just, not making it a profession. It was like, yeah. But it was a lot of fun, man.
All right.
Yeah.
So I heard Stanley Kubrick is inspiration of yours.
Yeah, that's true. How did you know that?
Tell us a little bit about that.
A little bit about that.
Yeah, how is he an inspiration? What inspires you, Stanley? And
man, it's such a big conversation. But I guess it's really interesting that's one of the things, or one of the examples of an artist that you can look at throughout the years of you growing up, and their art changes as you grow. You know what I mean? Because you see, I could watch Full Metal Jacket or Clockwork Orange, at 17 years old, and then watching it at 27, and then watching it at 37. They're all different experiences, And I think the stories that he's chosen to tell are all timeless,
Man, yeah, it's true.
They're all timeless, yeah. There's no expiration date on it.
Is it his style of filming, or is it what inspires you of his whole deal?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a very completeness to him. He's a very complete, cohesive package.
Okay.
It's like the story and the subject matter are in every single one of his movies are they all have something in common. Okay. They're all telling different stories, but they're all related stories. And then the other thing is the technical aspect of it is really interesting, especially now looking back, because clearly he's from an older era of filmmaking, but even within his own era, it was already very unique. But now looking through the lens of modern filmmaking at Kubrick movies, it's like looking at a Renaissance painting or something, It's you could look at it 100 years from now and it's still gonna communicate something that people can understand, even though the culture changes, even though the times change. That's why I said it was timeless. But just the craft and I don't know, I could go on and on, man. It's Kubrick. It's what do you... you could talk for days.
That's cool. Now, tell me, Arian, where can we find you? Where can we find your work, and where can people check out more about you?
Yeah, my production company is called Mod Shift, MOD Shift. Just go to my website.
What's that?
Modshift.com.
MOD
Shift.
Just how it sounds.
Yep.
MODSHIFT.
Right.
.com.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Cool, man.
And then you got an Instagram too?
I do. It's Arian Shreds.
Okay.
It's just pretty simple.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah.
And you're based in LA. You travel as well. What's going on if people
reach
out to you?
Yeah, I've been in LA for 12 years now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and for sure, I'm down to meet up with anybody. Other artists, other collaborators, absolutely.
I don't want to take much of your time because I know you gotta show us a music video.
Right, we're showing that in a few minutes.
A few minutes.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see what time it is.
So I don't hold you up, but
10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a pleasure meeting you, Arian. Anything you also want to tell the audience tonight?
Yeah. I think it was just a pleasure to be here, man. Thanks for interviewing me.
Well,
all right,
it's
man.
a pleasure, brother.
Yeah,
I'll be
pleasure.
catching you.
Thank you.